Hi everybody, welcome to School of Scarlet. Today I have another intuitive message for you. Today's message is a celebration, a congratulations to you for breaking this generational curse that is so deep. You have set everybody free. So if you are new here, I want to welcome you to my channel. I want to welcome you to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and come back for my daily intuitive messages. So I want to share something that came through the other day as I was gardening. This has to do with the congratulations and the setting free of your whole lineage. So I was working in my garden, and I was actually working in different areas of my garden, and I see these clusters of what looks like lots of weeds. And so I get to go pulling them out, and sometimes it's quite satisfying to pull out these weeds and see this really long root. Have y'all ever pulled those out? So I was pulling some of those out, and then I was seeing all of these weeds that look like big clusters, and I went to go pull one out, and there was no root there. And so I go and try to find the root, and the root's further down, and I pull the root out, and the whole cluster of what looks like individual weeds comes out together. And that's when today's message came through, that I needed to share with you that you have broken the curse, you have broken the chains that have been holding you and your family back. So whatever work you have been doing, it has worked. You have done it, and it's no coincidence that you're here on this channel or that you're hearing this message. You have broken through with love. And so we're going to go a little bit deeper into that here today. And I want to share with you that, you have done a lot of the work, but even though sometimes we pull these roots out, it really frees the whole entire cluster of roots. So in this case, when I pulled this root out, it freed a whole section of roots. And so this is the interesting thing about breaking curses, generational curses, is that maybe something in your lineage had been reoccurring and reoccurring and reoccurring. This could be addictions, mental health issues. It could be limitations, beliefs around certain things. It could really be a whole lot of things, abuse, trauma, so many things that had been reoccurring in each and every generation, from mother to daughter, from father to son, over and over and over again. So weeds, they multiply kind of in the same way. They just multiply and multiply and multiply so easily, and it's like nothing really stops them, right? It just keeps going and going and going until someone like myself goes in and plucks that root out from the whole, from the bottom, from the whole entire root, plucks it out and gets rid of it. And as we get rid of it, you notice that the whole cluster of those weeds is removed. So everything from the past to the future to the present is released. So you have broken not just the generational curse within you, but those that came before you and those that will come in front of you. So that is how great the work that you have done is. You may not see it now. You may not be talking to, let's say, your parents or your grandparents, or maybe you haven't had children yet, but you will see when time comes to pass how you have affected that generational line. From the past to the future, things will begin to improve just because of the work that you have done. So it's not easy to really pluck out that root. It goes pretty deep, and I really get a lot of satisfaction pulling out those really long roots. And so when I pull those out, you can see that if you don't pull those out all the way, like the whole entire root, it wants to fight to come back. It wants to fight to come back. So you might be having a situation where you have released a generational curse, you have broken a chain, but you feel like this tension where it wants to come back. And those people maybe in your generational line, those that came before you, are wanting to cling on to something that's old, that's no longer serving the family. Don't worry about it. You have plucked that root, and no matter how much it wants to fight to come back, it's not going to come back because you have plucked that whole entire root. So don't worry, you have done the work here. And it hasn't been easy to break that generational curse. You may have felt alone. You may have felt the heaviness of being in that situation. And everyone in your generation and your family lineage, every generation was given the opportunity to break this generational curse that has been reoccurring in your family. But they have not done it. For whatever reason, they have not done it. They have been complacent in the things that they were doing, or they simply didn't have the strength that you have to move forward in breaking that generational curse. But you have that strength, and you are doing it now. So that is what is coming up for me to share with you. And as I'm sharing what I was seeing with these roots, some different things are coming up as well. I'm seeing some used clothing that's being passed down to when you have used clothing and you outgrow your clothing, and maybe you pass it down to your little sister. And what I'm seeing is like the little sister's putting the clothes on, but the clothes is like not fitting her and she's not feeling comfortable in it. And it kind of like hangs off her shoulders and it's like too long in the pant leg. So what's happening here is that the past generations are trying to pass things on to us that no longer fit with us. They don't fit with who we are. They don't fit us anymore. So it's time to throw that clothing away and go buy new clothing. So maybe that is speaking to someone here today. Give me a thumbs up if it's already resonating with you. So when we pluck out these weeds, let's say in the garden, we're giving space for whatever we did plant there to grow more freely. So you have to see it as whatever you plucked out that weed, something's going to replace it. Either whatever is already there is going to grow stronger. So whatever, like in my case, it was a nectarine tree. So that nectarine tree will now be able to grow more and produce fruit. Or you pluck that root out and there has to be something that you're going to plant in place of that. And automatically, because you have broken this curse, you're already planting things like love, forgiveness, unconditional love. All of this is being planted because you have plucked that root out. But let's say that you don't pluck that root out and you let those weeds continue to grow, which I know is not the case because you have already broken that curse. But if we continue to allow that weed to grow, for some reason it's still growing, it begins to drain our life force energy. So one of the reasons that I pluck those roots out, so one of the reasons that it's really important to do weeding is because it begins to suck the moisture, the water, the sunlight, everything away from the plant that needs it. It begins to cover the area where it can't obtain the right sunlight. It begins to suck up all the moisture for itself and very quickly. So just like something like a generational curse or something running within our own lives, if we don't get rid of that, what ends up happening is it sucks out our own life energy and it begins to drain us. So think about something like trauma in your life, something that came passed down from someone else to you. Abuse, and y'all know what I'm talking about. Maybe it's addiction. Someone in your life had addictions and it's being kind of passed down to you. And if you don't do something to stop that, what's going to happen is going to drain your own life energy, drain you until you really don't have much energy. So don't allow these weeds to reproduce, to stay, anything. When you identify that there is a weed there, pluck it out, get rid of it. And it's as easy as plucking one out and it plucks all of it out. Just like I found that one cluster of weeds and I went ahead and plucked that one out and it took all of them out. That's how it is. That's really how it is. When we begin to get rid of one generational curse, it all begins to fix itself through unconditional love because you have replaced that with love. So I want to congratulate you here for what you have done, breaking this generational curse. And so there's a Bible verse that was really speaking to me and I was hearing this over and over again. And it's whatever plant my father did not plant will not flourish, will not grow. So if it's not rooted in love, if it's not rooted in the right place, these plants will begin to die. And it's your job as a chosen one that you are, because you have chosen yourself to do it, to pluck these out, to be that, chain breaker in your family, to break those generational curses right now so they don't get passed on to your children, so they don't get passed on to your grandchildren, and so that your parents and grandparents can begin to fix their own lineage and their generational curses. Even though they've already had those situations happen, they've already been in addiction, they've already been in mental illness or whatever, they'll begin to be able to live at least the rest of their lives a little bit better. So you're helping the whole family line and you don't even have to do anything about it, but begin to work on these weeds that pop up. And that's it. And I can tell you now that if you're watching this, you don't have much work to do anymore. You have already felt the heaviness of this. You have already released it. You're living in unconditional love. You're living in freedom. And you're not stuck to the bondage of these generational curses that have held people on for so long. So if this message is resonating with you, if you claim it here today that you are a chain breaker, you are a generational curse breaker, that you will uproot any plant that Father has not planted, give me a thumbs up right now. Down below in the comment section, declare any generational curse that you are going to break right here and now. When you declare it in the comment section, when you say it out loud, when you declare it in a spoken physical way, whether it's writing it or saying it, you change something in the energy field and you begin to manifest that into a reality. So begin to do that here now if you haven't already. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I welcome you to subscribe to my channel, to hit that notification bell, to come back for my daily messages, and I will catch you on our next video. I love you all.